Hello everyone and welcome back to the Footballtribeug channel. Robert Kesakos is your usual suspect. Welcome back to yet another broadcast with us here on Football Tribe. Allow me to do the honors of testing our audience before we get our conversation today started, because it's about those Premier League games that are coming our way tonight in the Premier League on match day 37. That's as we conclude the season, as we draw closer to the final games of the season. Of course, yesterday we did witness Barcelona, beat up against Espanyol by 2-0. Fermin Lopez as well as Lamine Yamal are on target there for Barcelona as they won that game by 2-0 to be crowned La Liga champions for the 28th time in the club's history. So really that was quite interesting, but like I said, our attention does turn to the Premier League, where action does kick off in about 8 minutes from now for that game between Aston Villa and Tottenham Hotspurs, and then later on, because that game kicks off at 9:30 p.m. East African time, and then later on at 10:15 p.m. East African time, we will be witnessing Chelsea up against Manchester United at Stamford Bridge. So we're going to be looking at the team news because the team news is already out for the respective matches today, and we'll be looking at that and more in this broadcast. So for those of you that were with us in the morning hours, we did speak about these particular features. We did do the full previews. I did give you my predictions and things of that nature. But thank you once again for being with us as we wait for others to join us on the broadcast. As we wait for others to join us on the broadcasts, it will be really exciting to have more of you on the broadcast. But anyway, here is the team news as far as. Hi guys, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, kindly like the broadcast, and please consider subscribing to the channel. Robert K. Sarkos is my name. Please let me know where you're joining us from. Let me know where you're tuning in from. What country are you in? What city? What time is it? Because for us, it's approaching 9:30 p.m. in the night. So if you're new here, kindly please consider subscribing to the channel, but more importantly, like the broadcast as we get into the depth of today's engagement. I can see some of you are already dropping because maybe what we're talking about was not your expectation. But anyways, welcome to the channel. Much appreciated for the love and support from India, from Italy, from Brazil, from Singapore, from the UK, from Uganda here, from Kenya, really, and then from Nigeria. Seen a couple of guys from out there, really much appreciated. From Pakistan, really appreciate the love and support that you guys have rendered me on this channel. Really appreciate the love and support that you have shown me in helping our community grow, but also in supporting what we do here on almost a daily basis. We had a couple of you guys in the morning, and then the other night, that was on Wednesday night. Yes, in Wednesday night is broadcast. But kindly like the broadcast and also consider subscribing to the channel if you're new. But anyways, let's get into the team news as it is already. Like I said, we do expect quite a good number of changes from Tottenham Hotspurs, because they will rest their players in anticipation of that final, or in preparation of that final in the UEFA Europa League against Manchester United that does come next week on Wednesday at San Mamés there in Italy. So in goal, they do have sorry, let's start with the home side in Aston Villa. In goal, they have Emi Martinez, Matty Cash, Ezri Kosa, Pau Torres, and Ian Madsen, Boubacar Kamara, Amadou Onana, Morgan Rogers, Marco Asensio, John McGinn, and Oli Watkins. Pretty much as the probable lineup that we read out in the morning for those of you that were with us for our routine morning broadcasts that do happen every day between 10 and 11 a.m. And then on the side of Tottenham Hotspurs is where majority of the changes are. from the probable lineup that we had earlier on in the day. In goalkeeper, they have Antonin Kinski, and then their back four has Ben Davis and Kevin Danso. That's for the centre back pairing. Dejad Space, and then Sergio Legron at left back and right back there. Then Pape Matsa in midfield, as well as Archie Gray, and then that's for the double pivot. And then you say Mickey Moore, and then ahead of them is Mickey Moore, Son Heung-min, Wilson Odebat, Matthias Telles there to lead Tottenham Hotspurs. Habib Nasser, welcome back once again to yet another broadcast. 21 years without a trophy. Ateta, please, we need a trophy. I think that's a larger debate, but I mean the writing is on the wall. It's no longer a project. Arsenal, it has now matured and it needs to now bear fruit. And that's probably the conversation we'll be having heading into next season. But anyways, on the bench, Aston Villa do have Robin Olsen, they have Axel Disasi, Tyrone Mings, Lucas Digne, Andreas Garcia, Lamere Bogade, Ross Barkley, Leon Bailey, and Daniel Malin. And then, of course, on the side of Tottenham Hotspur, they have Guillermo Vicario, Pedro Porro, Dante Casanova, Yves Bissouma, Rodrigo Bentancur, Callum Wilson Olisesi, Richarlison, Dominic Solanke, and Brennan Johnson. That's on the side of Tottenham Hotspurs for their starting levels. I do not think my prediction that I did make that Aston Villa will win this game by 3-1 still stands, because I do not think, while Tottenham's team is not too weak, I must say, but again, I don't think it will prove strong enough to compete with this Aston Villa side. Of course, kickoff is in just a couple of minutes from now, about 2 or 3 minutes, depending from kickoff. Anyways, so because when you look at the goalkeeping situation, they understand the goalkeeper, Sergio Reguilon. We've not seen him in quite a while, and as far as really competitive football was concerned, was almost a forgotten figure, because some people forget that he even had a loan spell at Manchester United, and that was last season. And then, of course, it was ended halfway the season, and then he moved on to, I think it was Sheffield United, was it? Where he completed the season. Then Dejad Space, very good player, very good right back. Ben Davis, very good player. Kevin Danso, we all know why he's always on the bench. Boss Royal, hi, welcome back to yet another broadcast. Good to have you back. Thank you for the love and support. Really much appreciated. Pape Matsa, very good player. We all know he's potentially very regular starter in this Tottenham Hotspur side, but Archie Gray, of course not. And I do think Pape Matsa would have used a more strong ball winner in that midfield, as opposed to him being played maybe as the deep line 6. Mickey Moore, Son Heung-min, that's the captain, but he's returning from injury. You never know what it's going to give you. Wilson Odebat, we all remember him last season at Burnley. And then Matthias Telles he's a good player, but still it goes without saying that he's not yet matured into a sensational player. And then moving on to the team news from Stamford Bridge for that game between Chelsea and Manchester United. Like I said, that game kicking off at 10 East African time. Here is the team news. In goal, Chelsea have Robert Sanchez. They have Richie James at right back, Tosin Aderabio, Levi Colwill, Mark Cucurella there to complete their back four. And then in midfield, Moises Caicedo does return to the midfield, because in the last 2 games, I think he's been played at, actually last 2 or 3 games, he's been played at right back. So he returns to midfield alongside Enzo Fernandez. Ahead of them is Noni Madueke, Cole Palmer, Tariq George, and Pedro Neto leading the lines there. Then on the bench, they do have Philip Yakinson, Marcus Bettinelli. They do have Benoit Badiashile, Trevor Chalobah, Malo Gusto, Alan Anselmino, Joshua Achepong, Kenan Dewsbury Hall, as well as Romeo Lavia. Of course, their injury list continues to go. Guehi. They do have Christopher Nkunku, Wesley Fofana, Mukalo Modric is out for personal reasons, pending that investigation. for what breaching and doping, rules. And then Kellyman and then Nicholas Jackson will be suspended, pretty much as we know. On the side of Manchester United, a bit surprised, but they do have a strong starting lineup today. Looks like Ruben Amorim is still trying to salvage their reputation this season. So Andre Onana is in goal, Luke Shaw in the back three alongside Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof. Then ahead of them is Patrick Togu, Mason Mount, Casemiro, as well as Mazraoui. And then ahead of that midfield four, or depending on how you interpret it, Bruno Fernandes, Amadou Diallo, Rasmus Højlund. Pretty much what we thought would be the lineup. Mason Mount and Amadou Diallo would start this particular fixture. The person that I did not expect to start this particular fixture is maybe Andre Onana, Harry Maguire, as well as Bruno Fernandes, the captain, and maybe even Patrick Togu. But those are the decisions that Ruben Amorim has taken. Anyways, on the bench, they do have Altay Bendia, they have Aiden Heaven, Harry Hamas, Fredson, they do have Christian Eriksen, Manuel Ugarte, Kobe Mino, Toby Coyle, as well as Alejandro Garnacho. That's to complete the Manchester. That's to complete, the Manchester United starting 11. Quite impressive. Does it change my prediction? I do not think so. I think my prediction will remain entirely that Chelsea is going to win this fixture by 2-1. Of course, I can't rule out a result like a draw and that kind of thing. So, but that's my feeling because of Chelsea's motivations for today's game. But as far as Manchester United are concerned, it is a warm-up game in build-up to that fixture on Wednesday against Tottenham Hotspur in the finals of the UEFA Europa League, but also to salvage their reputation, like Harry Maguire was speaking to, I think in an interview with Sky Sport, he says they've been quite embarrassing in as far as what they've looked like this season is concerned, and it's not really looking pretty. So, anyways, maybe just briefly, I just need to confirm something. Maybe then we can speak other matters. But that's the situation. But like I said, my prediction remains that Chelsea could win this one by 2-1. So that game between Aston Villa and Tottenham Hotspur has already kicked off. So be sure to follow that action, and maybe we will look to anyway. Real Madrid are sealing that deal for Dean Howson from AFC Bournemouth as their first signing of the summer transfer window, because they have agreed all terms, both on the player side and from club to club side, on the £50 million, Spanish youngster there for a defender. Of course, this has been his breakout season or breakthrough season, and it remains to be seen whether he is the next Sergio Ramos for Real Madrid, because they are really short on numbers defensively. Then allow me return, and then Liverpool are closer, much closer to completing a deal for Jeremy Frimpong. That's from Bayer Leverkusen on a 35 up to about 40 million euros to pay his release clause as a replacement for Alexander Trent-Arnold, who will win Premier League next season. Boss Royal, I think it's a little too early for me to predict that, as much as I would want to predict. Of course, as an Arsenal fan, I would want Arsenal to win it, but to be in terms of being objective enough, I think it's a little too early for me to predict, because we do not know how Manchester City, we do not know how Chelsea, Arsenal, Manchester United, Liverpool are all going to behave in the transfer window. Of course, I mentioned Manchester United and Chelsea in the conversation because United is one of the biggest clubs in the UK and on a tally of 20 league trophies, as well as Liverpool, of course, 2 Premier League titles versus United is 13. If you're just looking at the Premier League, I can't really say I can make judgment or even prediction that is objective enough based because I do not know how all those teams, are going to behave in the transfer window. What recruitments are they looking to make? And then what players will be exiting? What will be the size of their squad depth? We do not know how Manchester City are going to be set up next season. They are in the market for Florin Vart, very, very decent German player. They're in for Tijan Riendas from AC Milan, very, very good player. They're looking for left back. I mean, all those, if they were to bring them in, could change my perception about them, as opposed to how they are in this moment. Then you go ahead to say, are you Arteta in? I'm not Arteta out, not at the moment, at least. For me, I'm giving Mikel Arteta at least next season to as his make or break kind of season for him to win major silverware. And this is not a season that I'm looking at where he gets to say, "Oh, I win you the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup." No, none of that. Not that those wouldn't count for trophies, but it's either of the UEFA Champions League or the Premier League that will cut it for the fans, or for most people, in as far as his Arsenal career is concerned, in as far as his reputation as a manager will be concerned, because it's been 5 years, yes, rightly as you point out, and by December it would have been what? It will be 6. So with just one piece of silverware, and that was in his first half season for the FA Cup in 2020. So really, for me, after 5 years, the process, we are done with the process. We are done with the process. We are done with the project. Like, it has matured. It is now time for the project or the process to bear fruits. And what are the fruits? Is either you win the Premier League or you win the UEFA Champions League. At least one of those, or even both of those. So that's the task for Mikel Arteta. And I'm sure he really pretty much knows it more than anybody else. That is what is going to be demanded of him. I was even reading today somewhere, I think on X, with of course this is mere speculation, but the speculation was that Andrea Bata will not hesitate to ask the club to let go of Mikel Arteta if they don't win anything next season, because even he himself, his job will be as much as the managers on the line, because what he has been told walking into Arsenal is that they need to win, and they need to win something as soon as next season. So that's the feeling at Arsenal as things stand. The game is in the 6th minute. It's still 0-0, so you're not missing out really on much. Things are yet to break through for either side. Then again, this kind of takes me back to Habib Nasser's submission that 21 years without a trophy. Arteta, please, we need a trophy. So again, Arsenal's last Premier League title, and he says that 21 years without a title, he's basically speaking about major silverware. That's the Premier League, and of course, Arsenal have never won the UEFA Champions League. But in between there, I can see here Oli Watkins forcing the Tottenham goalkeeper into a save. That was in the 6th minute for Antonin Kinski. Anyways, so like I was saying, when you look at Arsenal, when it comes to domestic trophies, of course they've won a couple of FA Cups there in those 21 years, but the grandstanding is to win the Premier League, and then of course to go ahead and make history and win the UEFA Champions League for the first time. And I think that team is not so far away from winning. Why? Because it's a team that is capable of it. There's a couple of missing pieces of the puzzle that Arsenal need to inject in, that the manager needs to inject in, that the board needs to invest in to help the manager out. Because this season, like I spoke at the start of the season, for those of you, there's a pinned video on our channel when I was giving my predictions for this season's assessment. And although my prediction was that Man City would win the Premier League, I predicted that Arsenal would finish second. And the reason why I think they couldn't win the Premier League was simply because they lacked the squad depth, they didn't have a striker, and those were the main reasons. And then we factored in injuries. because they did not have replacements for Bukayo Saka, Martin Odegaard. They didn't have a striker and that kind of thing. So it left them a bit short-handed. For those of you that do remember, they let go of Emil Smith-Rowe, Fabio Vieira went on loan to FC Porto, Edin Nketiah left. You had Reece Nelson going away to Fulham on loan. You had Albert Sambi Lokonga go to Sevilla on loan. You had Nuno Tavares go to Lazio on loan, and that kind of thing. So it really left the club short on numbers. And of course, the injuries across the campaign did not help. Abdul Aziz says, "Hi, I don't like Arsenal. I'm a Real Madrid fan. My whole life, I know you." Yes, I completely understand Abdul Aziz. Now, you may be surprised. I also do support Real Madrid. That's the funny thing, because for me, as a football fanatic kind of person, there's so many things that I do enjoy, and enjoying watching Real Madrid is one of those things. But like I said, if it is Arsenal versus Real Madrid, then I'll support Arsenal because it's the primary team. It's the team that I've supported the longest. But I do understand your feelings, Abdul Aziz. I know you do not like Arsenal because every time Arsenal has met Real Madrid, it's practically ended in tears for Real Madrid, and that's completely understandable. But I think maybe you need to hate Barcelona more than the way you do not like Arsenal, because Barcelona yesterday clinched their 28th Spanish La Liga title after beating up against Espanyol by 2-0. I think Fermin Lopez as well as Lamine Yamal there. Lamine Yamal in the 53rd minute, and then Fermin Lopez in the 95th minute there of the game. Arsenal is better than Man City, at least at the moment. That is what it feels like at the moment. When you look at maybe some of the player profiles, Arsenal is better than Man City. But then Man City have the strongest weapon. Is that one, they're not afraid to act in the market to go for the players that they really want, no matter how expensive those players may be. But also the other biggest weapon of all, the biggest of all that they have is the manager in Pep Guardiola, because the manager in Pep Guardiola has all the experience that it takes to make any team win a title, to guide any team at winning a title. I bet you know that. Give Pep Guardiola that same Arsenal team, add in a couple of additions. One, a substitute goalkeeper, and I would do know that Arsenal looking at Joan Garcia at Espanyol. Although it is reported that if that deal proves to be too expensive, Andre Bata may look for other alternatives that may be a little affordable. Get him a striker in there, get him another creative midfielder, and get him another winger. On the on the right side, that's a swap for Bukayo Saka, and then get him. Actually, you need to get him 2 forwards. Really, that's what you need, and then he will win you the titles. He will win you titles because he has the experience and he knows how to motivate his teams. So when you say Arsenal is better than Man City at the moment, that is what it feels like. But for the last 8 years. I mean, Man City have been miles ahead of Arsenal. And for those of you that do remember, when Mikel Arteta walked into that Arsenal side, he said they needed to do a lot to catch up with the teams that were miles away. And in those teams, he was talking about Liverpool and Man City. So it's taken him 5 years to build a squad that closes the gap on those teams. And even when he's closed that gap in terms of competitiveness, he's still not yet won major silverware like those teams have won because they still had the edge over that Arsenal side that he's built. So I can see Daniel Tupon says hi. Hi Daniel, I think I'm seeing you here for the first time. Kindly like the broadcast and also consider subscribing to the channel. But Daniel, do let me know where you're joining us from. I'll be really interested in knowing, because I'm seeing you here for the first time. You may correct me if I'm wrong on that, but as far as I can remember, I'm seeing you for the first time. Oh, you're from Liverpool. Is it okay to assume that you're a Liverpool fan? Is it okay to make that assumption? And if you are, I wish to say congratulations. Oh yeah, wow, that's nice. Congratulations to you on winning your second Premier League title and your 20th league title as far as English football history is concerned. I'll be also interested in learning from you. What are your feelings about Alexander Trent-Arnold leaving the club and going elsewhere, going to Real Madrid? Were you among those that bought him? Were you among those that applauded him as he was being substituted on in that 2-2 draw against Arsenal? You said you felt sad. Indeed, it is sad, but I hope you did not boo him. I hope while you feel sad that he's leaving, you're also happy for the contribution he's made to the club. You asked what team do you support? I do support Arsenal. That's the team I support, but I love football in general, so that's why I think I can afford myself this sort of extended arm of objectivity when I'm looking at things. And for some of you that were with me last weekend when I was predicting the Liverpool Arsenal game, and it was a 2-2 draw, a perfect score, may agree with that among other assessments that you may have followed here on the broadcast. But and then also that Daniel, are you confident about Jeremy Frimpong, who you're trying to secure from Bayer Leverkusen as the perfect replacement for Alexander Trent-Arnold? And also, I know you're interested in signing a striker and a number 10. And among the strikers you're looking at is Alexander Isak and Hugo Ekitike, who is at Eintracht Frankfurt. I would want to hear from you. Which one would you prefer, Isak or Hugo Ekitike? And then, do you think you'll get to sign Florian Wirtz from Bayer Leverkusen, or you think he will either go to Bayern Munich or Manchester City? What are your feelings about that, Daniel? Do let me know again on those things. Who would you rather have? Are you confident about Jeremy Frimpong as the replacement? You say I won my cup final in my team today. I scored 3 goals. Isak is the GOAT. Wow. First of all, congratulations on scoring a hat-trick in your cup final. I do not know what level of tournament it is, but whether it is a small town tournament, whether it is Sunday League, whether it's a domestic cup competition at the Liverpool, constituency level or town level, congratulations upon that. I'm really, really happy for you. And scoring those goals, I do not know which striker do you look up to, or the best striker you've watched in history. Is it Robbie Fowler? Is it Michael Owen? Is it Fernando Torres? I can see Emiliano Martinez has been forced into a brilliant save by Wilson Odegaard. That was a couple of minutes back. So, anyways, it's still goalless between Tottenham and Aston Villa. So, but congratulations to you, Daniel. So, Jeremy Frimpong, are you confident? At least you've told us you're really confident you prefer Alexander Isak, who I think will really, really cost an arm and a leg if any club, if either of Arsenal and Liverpool or any other club out there would pull him out of that Newcastle side that are on the verge of qualifying for the UEFA Champions League next season. You say, I'm in England right now. I live in England. Oh, that's good. That's good. Really, really. I think for the sake of football, England is one of those countries that I want to visit. I would want to go and have a tour at the Emirates Stadium. I would want to visit the iconic Anfield. I would want to maybe go look at the mice-infested Old Trafford. No offense, Manchester United fans, but that's what the reports say, that your stadium is infested with mice. I would want to visit and see what kind of damage they've done. Maybe they keep eating away at the players' footballing brains and that kind of thing. But anyways, banter aside, I would really love to visit some of those iconic stadiums. From what I gather, even from Arsenal fans in the UK, is that the Tottenham Hotspur stadium is quite really impressive in terms of design and outlook and everything. I can do a backflip. Can you a backflip like a somersaulting? If you're talking about somersaulting, that's not really for me. That's not for me. I cannot do that. unfortunately. So, so on my bucket list, God willing, England is one of those countries I would want to visit for footballing purposes. I would want to visit India because I've gotten a lot of support from India. I would love to visit Italy, because I'm Christian. I would want to go and visit the Vatican, Rome as a city, and that kind of thing. And maybe, if possible, visit the Giuseppe Meazza Stadium / the San Siro. And then, which other country? Brazil. I would want to go to the beaches of Brazil because, again, I've received some support from Brazil. But anyways, it's about 19 minutes into the game, and Tottenham Hotspur and Aston Villa are still goalless. Both sides have had their chances, forcing Emiliano Martinez, Wilson Odegaard on the other side, but also and Antonini Kininski has been forced into at least about 3 saves so far in the game, including one from Oli Watkins, I think, forcing him into a save. So it's shaping out to be a very impressive game. My nan, she died yesterday. Oh, sorry about that. Sorry about that. How old are you when you say your nanny died? Your nan? How old are you, Daniel? I'm sorry to ask that. And if you're not comfortable answering that, it's okay. It's okay. But thank you guys for joining us. For those of you that have been with us for this broadcast, I'll request that you permit me go enjoy the rest of the game. We'll be back, I think, we'll do a halftime review of that Chelsea Manchester United game. So we'll be back, and that will be, I think, midway, possibly. Will it be midway? Yes, midway, the second half of the Aston Villa Tottenham game. So we'll also be looking at events in that, and then also at full time Chelsea United once that game concludes, provided we have stable power and internet. We'll be back here to engage a little further. But I want to say shout outs to you, Habib Al Nasser, for always dedicating your time to be with me here on the broadcast, for the time you managed to dedicate. Thank you, Boss Royal, for always chipping in. You really, really much appreciated for the engagement, for the love and support. And thank you, Abdul Aziz. Of course, for you, it's not your first time again also for being on the channel. Really, really much appreciated for the love and support. And to our new colleague here in Daniel Tuton, if I pronounce the name well, Daniel Tuton. Thank you so much for joining us on the channel, and I hope you do go ahead to subscribe to the channel so that you do not miss out on any subsequent broadcasts. I know it will be a bit late by the time we get to do the subsequent broadcasts, especially for our people in India, because I think they're about, is it an hour or 2 ahead? While for the people in the UK, we are 2 hours ahead of them. So for them, if it's 10 p.m., it's 8 p.m. on the other side. So maybe those will be able to accommodate us. But otherwise, Daniel Tuton is saying, please don't go. Daniel, unless you have some questions for me, I can still be around. Questions regarding football, as far as Premier League football is concerned, as far as transfers and that kind of thing. As I also get to enjoy the game. That's why I keep looking on the site here. For you're asking how old are you? I'm not at liberty to say, but I'm on the 3rd floor, around the 3rd floor there. That's all I can tell you. So I can't tell you the exact age, but around the 3rd floor. So, but thanks for asking. So I'm surprised Aston Villa have yet to score in this game, because I mean I did not think that Tottenham could put up the resistance they've managed to put up so far in this game. But it's a beautiful game. It's a beautiful game. It's a beautiful game that is going on between the two sides. But thank you to all our new subscribers. Thank you really, really for the love and support. Maybe briefly, while you guys are still with us, I want to, for those of you that will be interested in learning these skills, cybersecurity, very important, very high demand skill in as far as the global market is concerned, web design as well as coding. For those of you that would want to learn those skills, Our colleagues at Ebo State, situated in Kansanga, Kampala, do offer both in-person and online digital skills training sessions, career guidance, and help members or students to find jobs in the dynamic digital space post their training. So do remember to, I'll put their link down in the description of this broadcast so that you can check it out after the broadcast and go check them out in case you're interested in learning web design, cybersecurity, as well as coding. You say you subscribed. Thank you so much, Daniel, for subscribing to the channel. And if you have any friends out there that are football fans, do not hesitate to request them to subscribe to our channel or even join our community so that we can always engage on all matters of football. So I can see Mr. 200 IQ 86 will subscribe. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the love and support. Really, really appreciate it. And it's good to have you here. Nice to have you here. Really, really appreciate that. I would be interested in knowing, Mr. 200 IQ 86, what country are you from? What country are you from? What country are you from? Please let us know. The reason as why I'm interested in knowing what you say you're also from England. Wow. What part of England? That's quite good. So we have Boss Royal, Daniel, Puton, we have Mr. 200 IQ 86. There's another friend of ours that is always with us here. Oh, he's from the capital, London. Do you support any team in London? There's so many teams from London: East London, North London, West London, whichever part of London. Do you support any team in London? I'll be interested. Say I should guess. You appear to be in a white kit. Are you a Tottenham fan? I hope that doesn't insult you. Usually insults an Arsenal fan when you guess them to be a Tottenham fan. You say I'm Liverpool. Then we have Mariam Omuto. Mariam Omuto. Hi, Mariam. Thank you for joining us. Nice to have you on the broadcast. I think it's my first time seeing you, Mariam. Kindly like the broadcast and also consider subscribing to the channel. But much appreciated and welcome to the community. You say, Daniel says yes. Okay. Mr. 200 IQ 86 said, yeah. Oh, so you're a Tottenham fan. Wow. Okay. I'd be interested in, again, hearing your thoughts. How do you assess your season, this season, 2024-25, bearing in mind that you're into the finals of the UEFA Europa League, which you could go on to win by the mere fact that Ange Postecoglou said he always wins a title in his second season or in his second year with the club. But also your thoughts on your club's performance in the Premier League as well. Mr. IQ 86, do let us know your feelings about Tottenham's season. And then Mariam, I want to also hear from Mariam Omoto, who is a Liverpool fan. First of all, I would want to say congratulations, Mariam. You do have a fellow Liverpool fan in Daniel Tuton here on the broadcast, so you guys can connect. So you can connect, but congratulations once again on winning the Premier League title. You really, really deserved it. Then Mr. IQ 86 comes back to say we are playing quite bad, but next season. If I'm to remember correctly, my prediction was that Tottenham would finish, I think, 6th on the Premier League table. But well, it's been quite a huge disappointment this season, as far as this season is concerned in the Premier League. And yet they really put in the shift in the UEFA Europa League, and it's been quite impressive to watch, including that last game, the two-leg game against Bordeaux Glimont, which they won by 3-1 at home and then by 2-0 away from home. Quite impressive. And then Daniel says, can I get a shout out, please? Please, please. Yes, Daniel, I've just given you a shout out to trying to, put you in touch with Mariam Omoto here, who is also a Liverpool fan. Thank you for the love and support. Mr. IQ says we will change. Yes, I need a new manager Tottenham is bad. Daniel says Tottenham is bad. Bad in what sense? Bad in as far as historically or in as far as this season is concerned. Daniel, let me know. Mr. IQ, you say you need a new manager. Okay. Now, I would be interested in knowing. I'd be interested in knowing, Mr. IQ, if you win the Europa League, would you still need a new manager, or would you give Ange Postecoglou another chance? And what if you do not? Obviously, that means that if you do not win the Europa League, then it's obvious that you need another manager. But also, if your feeling is that regardless of whether you win or not, you still need a new manager, who are some of the managerial options out there that you're looking at that you would really, want to explore, that you'd love to see at Tottenham Hotspurs and guide them to the next stage? Maybe, and, take them away from being just a team that is always fighting for top four and, take them to the next level. I can see, you say you're probably right. That was Daniel, I think, responding to, that was Mr. IQ responding to Daniel. Then you say, Daniel, you say, you get carried by Son. You say Tottenham get carried by the captain, Son Heung-min. Well, because he's the captain, he ought to carry them forward. That's what Bruno Fernandes has been doing for Manchester United, at least in as far as this season is concerned. He has, I think, he has 7 goals and 4 assists in the Europa League this season. He's the top scorer at that side. I can see Fahim says, hello, how are you? I'm good, Fahim. How are you, Fahim? Kindly let us know where you're joining us from, Fahim, and what team do you support, in case you have any team you pay allegiance to. Fahim, I want to hear from you. Then you say, I will say he gets the sack either way because he has been pretty bad. By any measure of this season, yeah, he has been pretty bad. But then by measure of last season, I do not think he was bad. Maybe what he needed to fix is the number of goals that Tottenham ship in, and that's largely due to his playing style, because he wants his players to sort of push high up the pitch, and which usually costs them defensively. I think they can do better in that department. But this season, again, his team has been really largely impacted by injuries, the absence of so many of the senior players. Today we are seeing Son Heung-min play, and he's just returning from injury. We do know that they are going to be without James Maddison, Lucas Bagbill. They're going to be without Dejan Kulusevski for the final. That is at San Mamés next week on Wednesday. So really, injuries have hampered so many teams this season. But for Manchester United, their poor performance this season, they cannot really blame it on injuries. I mean, yes, injuries can be a factor, but that cannot be the main factor, really. Their situation has more other bigger problems or other bigger issues than injuries, than the way it has been at maybe at Tottenham, maybe at Arsenal, even Chelsea themselves. Because Chelsea were on a very good course, and I think by December we're having possible title conversations about this Chelsea side, whether they could go ahead and compete for the Premier League title, and then suddenly they fell away. Of course, since January, I think Cole Palmer, one of their most reliable players, went 18 games without scoring, and that kind of thing. So really, that really cost them. So Tottenham's season has been really hampered by injuries. Guillermo Vicario suffered an injury that kept him out of action for some good time. Mickey van de Ven, Christian Romero, their centre-back pairing or preferred starters for centre-back pairings, have also equally suffered injuries across the campaign, and that kind of thing. So do we judge Ange Postecoglou a bit harshly? Maybe yes, but also rightly so, because I think in some way he's refused to change his style of play or system to adapt to the Premier League, and know that, okay, even when I want to play my kind of football, I ought to fix certain things defensively to have an overall better team. when Mikel Arteta joined Arsenal, one of the things he looked to fix as soon as possible was the way Arsenal defended. And that's why he's invested a lot of money, a large chunk of his transfer funds into defenders, from signing Pablo Mari, from having David Luiz, from having did he sign David Luiz, or he found David Luiz around? I stand to be corrected on that one. Signing Gabriel Magalhaes, of course, William Saliba had already been signed, but he was still on loan at Saint Etienne, and then the following season went to loan on Olympique Marseille. Then he signed Jakub Kivio, Ricardo Carafiori, Julian Timber, Takahiro Tomiyasu. All those are defenders. Zichenko, of course, a defender, come a midfielder. All those are players that Mikel Arteta has spent money on in the course of his, stay at Arsenal, and really, that's where he's invested most of his money, and that's, I think, why I think Tottenham Hotspurs need to do a bit of more work in terms of to compete more favorably if they are to rise from the dungeons in which they find themselves in as far as this season is concerned, because we do know they are 17th, is it, on the Premier League table? I mean, it's been that bad. It's been that bad a season. Yes, they're 16th on the Premier League table, and then of course Manchester United dropped to 17th. And I keep saying this: in any other season other than this season, Tottenham Hotspurs and Manchester United will be very perfect relegation candidates. But well, luck has been on their side. I think it will be ideal. We're 47 minutes into the broadcast. I think it wouldn't hurt, because some of you have dropped for whatever reason. We didn't hear back from Fahim. We didn't hear back from you. I do not know what really happened. I'll be interested in knowing what happened to you. We did lose you a bit. Just checking here to be sure that I've not missed any comments in as far as our engagement today has been is concerned, and I do not think so. I can see Daniel Levy, the Tottenham, bosses there and co-owner in the stands, and again, I'll be eager to see what kind of decision Tottenham Hotspurs make in regards to their manager in the work of being guided to the finals of the Europa League, but also they did sack Jose Mourinho, who had guided them to the finals of the Carabao Cup before he could even, lead them into that final and that kind of thing. So, I mean, it's 37 minutes into the game and it's still goalless. Maybe we'll stay here. Oh, that felt close. Marco Asensio in the 35th minute. That felt close. That felt close. In as far as some of those attempts have come, he drove that ball across the 18 yards box and had a go at goal. Maybe it was just inches away. He lacked that slight bit of curve that Lamine Yamal normally pulls off when he scores for Barcelona, as he frequently does in recent times. So quite impressive. For him, I do not know whether you're still around, but I would be interested to hear more from you in as regards to where you joined us from. But maybe you dropped for whatever reason you did drop. For whatever reason that you did drop. So at least this has been quite good. We've had Mr. We've had Habib and Nasser, an Arsenal fan. We've had a Boss Royal. Boss Royal, I think Boss Royal is a Liverpool fan. And then, is it a Liverpool fan or an Arsenal fan? I forget that. Somebody will correct me. Abdulaziz, there, a Real Madrid fan. We've had Daniel Tuton, a Liverpool fan. We've had Mr. 200 IQ 86, a Tottenham fan, and Fahim did tell us what team he supports. We also had Mariam. Where's Mariam? Looking for Mariam here briefly. Kindly bear with me. Mariam Otum. Yes, Mariam Omoto. Yes, also a Liverpool fan. It was great having you on the broadcast. It was great having you on the broadcast. Enzo Consa there, I said that, causing no troubles for the Tottenham goalkeeper in the Tottenham goalkeeper there in I don't know why I keep forgetting his name, in Antonin Kinski there. So very good game of football. Allow me to wrap it here, guys. For now, like I said, we'll be back at at half. Actually, yes, we'll be back at the halftime of that game between Manchester United and Chelsea. Their kickoff is also getting underway in just a little bit from now. Just a little bit from now. Just need to confirm something. Let me check out. The game does kick off in about 3 minutes from now. Thereabout. That's when it does kick off. So be sure to look for that action. But let me leave you for now, and we'll be back in just a bit. Thank you for those that have been with us for the longest of time. Stay blessed for now. Bye bye.